Every night, 7 beautiful princesses disappeared into magical kingdoms. But hidden in the shadows, someone was watching them. Far above the clouds, the moon princess lit glowing lanterns, so no child in the kingdom would ever feel alone at night. But deep inside the enchanted forest, a lonely ogre girl watched the glowing castles and dreamed of belonging there too. Far above the glowing clouds, the moon princess watched over the kingdom, while the world below slowly fell asleep. Every evening, she lit glowing lanterns, so no child in the kingdom would ever feel alone in the dark. But deep inside the enchanted forest, a lonely young ogre girl watched every lantern rise into the night sky. Then, one tiny lantern floated lower and lower through the dark enchanted trees. Carefully, the ogre girl held the glowing lantern close to her heart for the very first time. And beneath the glowing moonlight, the lonely ogre girl smiled for the very first time. Beyond the golden hills, the Rose Princess cared for a magical garden filled with glowing roses that never stopped blooming. Every evening, she whispered kind wishes to each glowing flower before the stars appeared above the kingdom. Then, one tiny glowing rose drifted gently beyond the garden walls and into the dark enchanted forest. Carefully, the young ogre girl planted the glowing rose beside her tiny forest home. And for the very first time, something beautiful began growing around the lonely little cottage. Soon, the dark enchanted forest no longer felt lonely at all. Deep inside the enchanted forest, the forest princess protected a magical waterfall hidden beneath the ancient trees. Every evening, lost little forest animals followed the forest princess safely back home before nightfall. Then, one frightened little fox wandered far beyond the glowing forest trails alone. But before the little fox could cry for help, the young ogre girl stepped quietly out from the shadows. Carefully, she carried the tiny fox safely back toward the glowing waterfall kingdom. And for the very first time, someone looked at the young ogre girl with gratitude instead of fear. High above the sparkling mountains, the Crystal Princess lived inside a glowing palace filled with beautiful dreams. Every evening, the Crystal Princess protected magical dream crystals that glowed brighter whenever children slept peacefully. Then, one tiny dream crystal slipped from the glowing palace and disappeared into the dark forest below. When the young ogre girl picked up the crystal, she finally saw something beautiful reflected inside it. For the very first time, the young ogre girl wondered if she could become something more than what the world expected. And that night, the enchanted forest shimmered brighter than it ever had before. Far beyond the glowing valleys, the Golden Princess filled her kingdom with music, laughter, and endless sunsets. Every evening, golden lights danced across the kingdom, while children celebrated beneath the glowing sky. Then, one tiny golden music box rolled quietly beyond the kingdom gates and into the dark forest. When the young ogre girl opened the music box, a soft little melody filled the quiet forest for the very first time. And before she even realized it, the young ogre girl began laughing and dancing beneath the glowing sunset sky. And little by little, the lonely enchanted forest no longer felt lonely at all. Deep beneath the silver waves, the Ocean Princess protected a magical kingdom where the sea glowed softly through the night. Every evening, the Ocean Princess placed glowing healing pearls beneath the waves to calm the restless sea creatures. Then, one tiny glowing pearl drifted quietly far beyond the ocean currents and into the enchanted forest river. Carefully, the young ogre girl lifted the glowing pearl from the quiet river and listened to the peaceful sounds inside it. And for the very first time, the young ogre girl felt calm enough to simply sit beneath the stars and dream quietly. That night, even the enchanted forest seemed to breathe more softly beneath the glowing moonlight. Far beyond the frozen mountains, the Snow Princess watched over a magical kingdom, glowing beneath the northern lights. Every evening, the Snow Princess created glowing snowflakes, so every child could wake to something beautiful in the morning. Then, one glowing frozen flower drifted far beyond the snowy kingdom and into the enchanted forest below. Carefully, the young ogre girl carried the glowing frozen flower back to her little forest cottage. Then, the young ogre girl discovered a beautiful glowing invitation hidden beneath the frozen petals. And for the very first time, the young ogre girl realized someone wanted her to come to the kingdom above the hills. As the golden sun slowly disappeared beyond the hill, the young ogre girl finally followed the glowing invitation toward the magical kingdoms. But deep inside her heart, the young ogre girl still feared everyone would run away the moment they saw her. Then, the giant golden gates slowly opened before her. And one by one, the princesses stepped slowly toward the young ogre girl with warm, gentle smiles, as if they had been waiting for her all along. Before the young ogre girl could even speak, the Moon Princess wrapped her gently in the warmest hug she had ever felt. The young ogre girl tried to hide her face, but the princesses only stepped closer, with kindness shining in their eyes. Then, the final golden sunlight wrapped gently around the young ogre girl, like magical warmth. And before the stars appeared above the kingdom, the lonely young ogre girl transformed into the beautiful sunset princess. But the princesses smiled exactly the same way they had before, because they already knew she had always been beautiful inside. And beneath the glowing sunset sky, all 7 magical kingdoms shine together, brighter than ever before. And from that day on, the Sunset Princess never felt lonely again. From me, Shanaya, where every magical story reminds us that little minds shine bright. Good night. Follow us for more magical fairy tale adventures and more cozy bedtime stories beneath the stars.